What's up, guys and gals? It is Wednesday, so you know it's time for some more Kengan Omega, chapter 339. As you guys can tell from the position of the camera and the fact of the way I'm sitting, my back is still under some much-needed recovery alongside of all the organs that are in this general area. So this one's going to be relatively short because I ended up overworking my back today, just trying to physio and stuff like that. And thankfully, the chapter is pretty relative. There wasn't any huge fights. It was more an explanation on exactly what went down with Seki, and it's basically exactly what I said. So don't really need to fully go over that. If Fu just happened to be one who we know is quite strong in his own right. You know, he was taking on Roland 1v1. So we know that he was strong, and he's the leader of the direct subordinates and that kind of idea. They came upon Seki, just like I said, and Seki said, alright, well, we're going to do this. I'll take you guys on and stuff like that. And Fu is the one to say, well, no, I'll let number 9 take you. Well, he keeps calling him number 8. He's like, oh, number 9, I'll let him take you on. Seki recalls that he was doing pretty well against 9. 9 was strong, but he was able to win. He was able to beat him up pretty good. And then when 9 started to lose, Fu decided to step in on a 1v1. And he remarks that giant was in a league all on his own. He said he hasn't got his ass whooped that bad since he first signed up in the president of course, the wrestling and stuff. We know Seki's backstory. It's awesome. He got his absolute shit wrecked, and he was like, I felt utterly helpless at that point. Fu was actually starting to, have some fun there and stuff. Seki made a very good, of course, Seki being the durable guy that he is, he made obviously a worthy opponent to Fu as far as someone who could take some hits, as far as we could tell. But Fu took no real damage. Seki was unable to counter. Seki didn't seem to be able to do anything. Now, this is where, of course, Raian is the one on the radar, right? Like, once again, people have been complaining about the sonar thing, and once again, if you already have people in range and you're not paying attention to the watch, you're not going to notice these things. The little beep, beep, beep is going to happen every time the whole thing goes around, so that's a non-argument for this whole stealth thing. It still makes sense in the confines of the story. Once again, if you're alone and the moment radar and you're watching the watch and the moment a blip appears, you'll notice it and stuff like that. But think of it like sonar, and you'll be a lot better off. So Raian enters the range of their watches, and number 9 notices this. He doesn't know it's Raian, of course, and he says, well, here's the deal. He said, I gotta get going, so you stay behind here and take care of Seki, but make sure to figure out who's coming here first, friend or foe. And if they're an enemy, make sure to get rid of them too. So the idea was here, even though it's sort of spelled out in between the lines, is that they weren't going to eliminate Seki right then and there. They were in no rush because they wanted to know who was going to approach them, friend or foe, and depending on the situation, use Seki as bait to lure them in and then go attack them from behind, etc., right? So that's the reason they didn't immediately stomp on his transmitter, stuff like that. We jump back to the present, and Raian and Gaolang are basically saying, oh, so that's when I showed up, and it's like, yeah, that was really weird, and Seki was saying, he goes, I wasn't laying on my ass, because Ryan's recalling, the old man was laying on his ass. He's like, I wasn't doing that. I was signaling to you that they were hiding in the bushes, you dumb fuck. So this is definitely very much with Ryan's character, because people said, oh, this is not within Ryan's character to go along with Seki's plan and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, Raian wants to assess the situation. He still wants to see what's going on. He just arrived on the scene, realized that Seki was down but still mobile, so he's like, what the fuck just happened? And boom, Gaolang shows up and accuses him of beating up Seki, and Raian immediately says, alright, well, if that's what you think happened, bring it on and stuff like that. And Raian wasn't trying to go all out because he wanted to know what was going on himself before going, and he immediately, after the confusion of the situation was done, Raian immediately said, alright, Gaolang, you want to go at it for real? And that was the thing, right? That was the thing. And there's nothing wrong with that, you know what I mean? I was like, that is totally within Ryan's character. Smooth out, sweat the small details in a second, then let's get down and dirty with it. That's exactly what he did, and the end of this chapter as well. So, they're just like, yep, this all seemed to work out just fine. But, Seki still mentions, once again, he reiterates that Fu is bad news. The other worms we've been fighting so far have nothing on this guy. Now, Fu seems to think that Sekibayashi, the Intruder, and number 9 were all defeated, and that accounts for the 57 remaining. However, he's not. He's completely misinformed by this, because it's actually, of course, Kim Jang-ji or whatever, one of the supernova guys who's, we don't really care about, and Falcon are both eliminated by Gilbert, who, once again, I will say, he's like, I'm here for you, Ryan. Get out here. Where are you, God of the underworld? Gilbert Woo is here on the scene. And it's like, Gilbert, like, I know you were 2v1, but this was a C-tier fighter in Kim and another maybe B-tier fighter in Falcon, and this happened to you? Like, the fact that you took, like, people are saying it straight up. I'm not against the fact that on a 2v1 and these guys wouldn't be able to get some blows in, and he doesn't seem all that hurt. He just took some hits. He's just a little ruffled. But Eddie wouldn't have taken the hits. And that's the big thing as far as I'm concerned, is that Edward wouldn't have taken these hits, and this is showing the immaturity. Now, granted, Gilbert is a different character from Edward. We were robbed of Edward, true, but it is actually, see, it's a double-edged sword. It's good that Gilbert is like this, because it's showing he did perform the coup way too early. Howard and Edward had the charisma and the experience and the maturity on how to do things. He's still a child playing an adult, and we're seeing that here in his character. However, I will concede that we wouldn't have needed any of this had Edward survived, because Edward was a cooler character, a cooler villain. Straight up, and I agree. But as far as Gilbert as a character being different from Edward, that's not a bad thing from a narrative perspective, a character perspective, a storytelling perspective. It's not a bad thing, right? I'm gonna have to, as I told you guys, this is gonna be a short one because, as I said, I did a little bit too much the last couple days from my back. So, oh man, yeah, this is I'm hoping I got to take something for this soon, because this is not going well. Maybe if I stretch some more, I don't know. Anyways, it comes and it goes. But yeah, so but I want to make sure to get this out on Wednesday. I'll probably feel better in an hour and could make like 2 hours of reviews. You know what I mean? But it's just I only have so much limited time. And I want to make sure that this one gets out. So they say they're going to add an additional rule now that the second area has been opened. Yamagohan and everyone says that nobody knew about it other than like Nogi and Katahara and stuff like that. But they're adding a new rule saying in order for you to engage in combat more actively, we see, of course, the groups that we already knew about, Oma, Okubo, Gaolang, Seki, and Ryan. But then we also see like Cosmo and Haro are hanging out together and stuff. The final area now has a condition to enter. You must destroy or stop at least one other transmitter before you get to enter the final area. So that's going to turn a lot of people on their heads. Fu even regrets not being the one to finish off Sekibayashi, because now he's got to find somebody. And the chapter ends with a great shot of Ryan and Seki and Gaolang looking, like stern, because Ryan now has this excuse. He's like, well, I guess we're not playing pretend anymore. Let's get this going, Gaolang. And that's the end of the chapter. And I'm like, okay. So people thought we were robbed of the fight, right? People thought we were robbed of the Gaolang versus Ryan fight where neither one was serious. We might get it. And this would be early. This would be early for Gaolang to be defeated. I have a feeling, even though it'd be crazy, I don't think Gaolang or Ryan goes out here. I think that Seki ends up taking the hit for Ryan to enter, or Gaolang to enter. Something weird's got to happen here. I don't actually know, because Ryan wouldn't stop just because of one transmitter. That's not within his character. He'd be like, all right, I defeated Seki's transmitter, but I still want to take you on, Gaolang. Show me what a, you weak-ass boxing punches, all those jabs. Come on, try to defeat me with those jabs, He still wants the grudge match. He's interested in beating Gaolang, regardless of this new rule. It's just an excuse. So I'm very curious on how this is going to be handled going forward. But anyways, that's it for me, guys. I think I covered everything anyways. Like, there was a lot of just boom, boom, boom stuff this chapter. And as I said, of course, when I decide to record is when my back starts to give me more grief. And it will probably feel better in an hour, and then I'll be totally fine. But I wanted to make sure that this review got recorded here and got out in a time, Today, pretty much, was the big thing. So, can't wait and bet on the fact that the back will feel better or worse in the next couple hours. So, but anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And sorry how short the review is and how boom, quick-paced it is. But maybe you guys prefer that anyways. Who knows? Maybe my tangents is what's holding me back. But anyways, that was chapter 339, A Callous Warning. I thought it was a decent chapter. It was a good chapter. Everything made sense, and now we've got the incentive for a lot more fights. Plus, we got rid of some non-characters like the Supernovas and Falcon. I didn't want to see those two fight anyway, so it's all good. It's all good. But yeah, thanks guys. Like, comment, subscribe. See you back here next Wednesday. Have a good one. See ya.